Our advisory council is also here. There's 15 of them, so I'm not going to read the names. AC members, please raise your hand. That's the ARIN Advisory Council, and they work on shepherding the policy process. When you folks propose ideas, the ARIN AC is responsible for taking control of those, moderating the discussion on the list, updating the proposal, and coming up with fine ideas for us to discuss here in this room. The chair, Tina Morris, is here at the head table, and Leif Sawyer, the vice chair, is also at the head table. We have a number of folks from the NRO Number Council. Kevin Bloomberg, Louis Lee, and Jason. Jason isn't here, but Kevin and Louis are here. The NRO Number Council is the organization that works on global policy. They get together with the other representatives from the other 4 RIRs, and together they work out the global policies that are used to administer the central pools at the IANA. The central pool of IPv4, IPv6, and ASNs are administered by the policies these folks work. Now, those policies are actually developed here and harmonized by this group until they're consistent in all 5 regions, then they're ratified and used. Haven't had a global policy in quite some time, which you might say is a good thing. Our RIR colleagues. The RIR system has 5 RIRs. We have folks from AFRINIC, APNIC, LACNIC, and RIPE here, making sure that they can bring back to their communities what's going on in ARIN, because while we all have our own portion of the registry, it is one total global registry. And so to that extent, we need to coordinate. We have our ARIN leadership team here. This is the senior management team of ARIN. Myself, Richard Jimerson, our COO. Richard, where are you hiding? Richard over there. Ann Rochelle, who handles our government affairs. Erin, who handles our HR and admin. Susan Hamlin here on the front row. Susan's the one who makes this meeting work, her and her team, Senior Director of Communications and Member Services. Mark Costers, who runs our engineering. Leslie Nobile, who handles global registry knowledge, tracking what's happening across the integrity of the whole registry. John Sweeting, the man who runs registration services, probably the department most of you interact with. Val, who handles our financial services, hopefully the department you don't need to interact with much because everything's smooth. Michael Abuela, our Associate General Counsel, and Bevel Wooden, our Caribbean Outreach Liaison. We also have Steve Ryan, our General Counsel, here in the back. Very good. So we have our ARIN Fellowship Program, and the Fellowship Program provides for people to come to ARIN and be able to learn what we're doing here and bring it back to their communities. This year we have 3 fellows from Canada. You can find them because their badges prominently have a fellowship. So you have Jamin Lefebvre, Imran Mahudin, and Matthew Wider are our 3 fellows, and they have mentors from the AC. Caribbean, well, we have a lot of Caribbean fellows. That's wonderful. Suzette Burley, Rudolph Daniel, Chrislyn Goulbourne Harry, Richard Hamilton, and Cathrona Samuel. If I have named your name, I'm sorry. Find me at the break, and I will get it right on all the future slides. And U.S., we have 4 fellows from the U.S. area: Jeffrey Anderson, Mike Arbret, Frank Hunhut, and Barry Sherwood. So these folks are here, they're attending, they're learning about our policies and processes, and then they're going back to their communities so people understand in their communities and their part of the world what we do here at ARIN. All of our newcomers attended an orientation yesterday. They get to meet the staff, our representatives from AC and board, and they learned about ARIN. And so we have them fill out a survey that talks about what went well, what doesn't go well, what additional information we could add to the newcomer orientation. At this time, I'm going to do a drawing of those surveys to give out a gift certificate. We like to encourage participation. I need someone from the audience, second row, third one. Owen, come on up. It does appear random. You sit in different places. Thank you, sir. Okay, thank you for filling out these surveys. They're very helpful to us. And The newcomer who filled out this survey, Michael Cassandal. One more time? Cassandeval. Thank you. Oh, yes, we met. Hello, Michael. You'll get a gift certificate. You don't need to come up. We're going to email you a gift certificate of $100 from ThinkGeek. Thank you for filling out the survey. Okay. Now, we have remote participants, as always. The remote participants have a webcast of this going on in the back. They have a live transcript of what we say, which is a good reminder that we need to be polite to the transcription people and talk at something other than my normal Boston pace. So when you're speaking, speak clearly, slowly if you can, because we want to make sure we have a good transcript. The remote participants often rely on that. We have downloadable meeting materials. They're on the website. They're also in your app. If you have the app on your phone, you can click all get the meeting materials. The virtual microphone and consensus polling via Slack. So people who are remote participants, they have the ability to, when they have a question, ask that online. It'll be read at the mic. And when we do a poll of consensus, a show of support, someone can add themselves to that even though they're remote. So you have full participation remotely. Attendance stats. We have 63 attendees from the US, 8 from Canada, 34 remote participants, 31 from the Caribbean, and 15 from outside the region. Emergency procedures. Well, if there's an emergency, go to the beach. Head out the exit, find a nice spot. Shouldn't have to worry much about that. Download the meeting app. I mentioned this. We have a meeting app. It's useful. You can see the map of the hotel, where the rooms are. You can see all the sessions. You can find out the speakers. You can find out the attendee list. It's all available. Feel free to click on this link to get it. I'd like to thank our sponsors. 2 of our sponsors, our network sponsor, which makes sure we have connectivity, and our webcast, very important, C&W Business and Google. Let's have a round of applause for our sponsors. Additionally, we have meeting sponsors that make these meetings possible because it's quite a few expenses and we don't charge people for people who pre-register for the meeting. So our platinum sponsor, Adrex, and our silver sponsor, IPv4 Mall. Let's have a round of applause. Okay, so a couple of things. The discussions of the policies, the Board of Trustees chair will moderate them, and he'll make sure everyone can speak and have a chance to be heard. This means that please go up to the microphone and state your name, affiliation, be clear about it. There's rules in your discussion guide if you have a printed copy, or you can go online, or it's in, again, the online app. The guide says be polite, focus on the policy, not on the speaker. Please speak once on a draft policy. Give other people a chance to speak before you approach the mic a second time. You can find all the guides online. So we have a pretty full agenda today. Our agenda is, we're going to have our sponsor, C&W, come up, Jensen Sylvester. That'll be wonderful. We have a regional policy update where we talk about what's happening on the 5 RIRs for address policy. We have our AC docket report. The AC will talk about the draft policies and proposals that they have to work on and what they're doing with them. We have a policy implementation experience report, which is where we report back to the community issues we see with policy, how policies that have been adopted in the past are being implemented, any issues that we might have. We have the Internet Number Status Report, reporting on the free pools maintained at the IANA and the issuance out, and how the RIRs are all doing with their issuance of number resources. We have a report from the IETF, from our IETF reporter. IETF is the place that makes the protocol standards, changes the protocol standards, adds new protocols. It's always interesting to look over the horizon and see what's coming at us. RDP, we have a consideration of 2 recommended draft policies. Either of these could be sent to the board for ratification after this meeting. The first one will be 2018-2, clarification to initial ISP allocation. The second one will be 2017-12, POC notification and validation upon reassignment or reallocation. In the afternoon, we have consideration of recommended draft policy 2018-5, disallow third-party organization record creation. We have consideration of a number of draft policies that aren't recommended, which means they won't be sent to the board necessarily for adoption after this meeting, but could be recommended at a future time. And they'll come back to this community for consideration. So that's ARIN 2018-6, clarify reassignment requirements in 42371. We're going to have a report of our website and routing registry update. We'll have consideration of draft policy 2019-1 on IPv4 request requirements. We'll have a draft policy update on for 2019-3, which is update on the IPv6 deployment block. And we're going to have a presentation from a study that was done on economic factors affecting IPv6 deployment. Should be an interesting discussion. We have then a presentation talking about future meeting agendas. Right now, ARIN's staff sets the meeting agendas, and we'd like to talk to you a little bit about how that's done and maybe how you can help. And then we'll close for the day, and that'll be our, wow, quite a Monday. We're going to be pretty busy today. So there's a room out the doors and around the corner called Garrison 1. That's a policy discussion room. If you want to grab someone and talk about an idea and maybe make it into a draft proposal, or you want to follow up with a member of the AC, grab them. We have a room set aside where you can discuss things like that. Help desk. Registration Services Department has a help desk. It's right outside the door. It'll be available for ARIN 43 and at Caribnog, which follows. The hours are 8 to 5 each day. If you have an open issue, if you have something you're trying to do with ARIN, a registration request that maybe is stuck, a ticket that's not moving, come over, see the registration desk. Women's networking reception tonight, 5 to 6 p.m. at Needham's Ballroom 3. We have a social tonight at Copacabana. So your social badge or your regular badge will get you in. We have shuttles running at 6:45, 7, and 7:15, and they start returning at 8:30. And this is a short bus ride away for an authentic Barbados experience. Should be a wonderful time. Okay, after ARIN 43 this week, we have Caribnog meeting, and it will meet Wednesday through Friday. And we have ARIN CTU has a public policy group meeting taking place on Thursday. So, at the head table, I already introduced all these folks, so I don't need to do it again. Thank you. So, we'll move right ahead into the meeting.